Venti Guide and Razor Language. Venti is known for his crowd control capabilities, and despite having a high competition, you can still play and enjoy him in some content or abyss runs where enemies are groupable by him. He has two major caveats. He can generally pull light enemies only, and when he does, they are lifted in the air, so melee characters could have a hard time trying to hit enemies in his burst. With that being said, let's now talk about his build. First things first, he has two possible builds, EM and Crit. The Crit build is usually the best, especially against single target, but requires more investment. While the EM build is strong against multi-target, which by the way you want to play him in those scenarios anyway, and way easier to achieve, given that you just want EM main stats and some energy on your substats, but overall I personally prefer the Crit one. His artifact set is VV, just VV. He can kinda play Emblem or Noblesse in teams where you don't need the VV debuff, like Mono a Nemo or something, but seriously, just play VV. As I said before, he can use two builds. In fully M, you want triple EM main stats, and energy on substats. On Crit build, you want attack, Anemo, and crit, with crit rate, crit damage, attack, and energy on substats. Even EM is welcome of course. Best weapon is generally Elegy, which is also a really good weapon overall, usable on a lot of other characters. Stringless is his best for Star, but if you don't have that you can never go wrong with a Favonius, as long as you have a bit of crit rate, so crit build is preferable here. There are also other weapons like Moon's Moon, Wind Blue Mode, and Fading Twilight, but Moon is gacha exclusive, so you can't even find it in the standard banner, and the other two are event exclusive, so if you didn't play those old events, you can't have them anymore. So not only Stringless is the best, but is also the easiest to get. But I just wanted to mention those other options anyway. If you're building him Crit though, the Crit 5-star options are all really nice. Harp, Aqua, Polar Star, or even the new First Great Magic, as an attack stat stick in some triple Anemo comp or something. His constellations, just like most of these old characters, are not worth pulling. MiHoYo didn't have a clear idea of how the game would have evolved, therefore the majority of these old characters' constellations are a little bit weird. C1 is embarrassing, C2 makes the skill reduce Anemo and physical resistances, C4 gives Venti 25% Anemo damage for 10 seconds when he picks up energy particles, and C6 makes the burst decrease enemies' Anemo and the absorbed element resistances by 20%. Talent priority is burst and skill. You can ignore normal attacks. His teams are basically those where you want a VV user, crowd control, and where you can hit enemies inside his burst. You can still play him against heavy enemies or bosses of course, but you must be careful at aiming his burst, and in those scenarios, Kazuha or even Sucrose are a better choice anyway. The best one where he still performs really well is Morgana, the Freeze team with Mona Ganyu and Diona, or Shenhe and Kokomi instead of Mona and Diona.
Understood.
Other teammates can
I
be
just have to
anything
stand here,
ranged
right?
enough to hit inside his burst, like Lini, Yoimiya, or even Neuvillette. All in all, he's still a solid character, especially for open world and early Abyss. Up to Abyss 11, he's a god thanks to the enemies being almost all small. He just has strong competitors that unfortunately for him work better in Abyss 12 scenarios. If MiHoYo ever brings back multi-waves of light enemies, he'll become the god of Abyss once again, but until then he's just good. I'd suggest pulling for him if you really like him as a character, otherwise, you might consider other options like Kazuha or Sucrose. Hope this video was helpful. If so, leave a like and subscribe, it helps a lot. Thank you for watching.